Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on February 13th, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the precise tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the precise philosophies I guide my virtually every movement by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they're helping me now, and they have literally helped thousands of people over the years, depending entirely on the individual's personal effort. Now, before we get into the idea here, on positive perceptions here, we are looking at role-playing games and the impact of your imagination on your current life. Or as I typed it into the chat room or into the ad, on you current life, because we're speaking different English. Anyway, before I get into it, we have in the house, we have Eternity Eternal is in with the gold. Well done, Eternity. Hope things are going well for you. LA is in the house with the silver. Followed immediately thereafter by Steve Knox with the bronze. And if we scroll down, we have Wu Train is in with honorable mention. Nick, I decided, of course, today is Tuesday, so we look at the role-playing side of it. How can that work? Well, how can that help you? Now, the better portion of you are not in traditional sense, are not role players. However, in the real sense, you all are. Apparently, I come from the deep south. The reality of it is this. Every time you do something, you're playing a part in as Shakespeare put it, we are all actors and the world is a stage. And I'm paraphrasing for obvious reasons. I mean, he was a nice chap, but, quite frankly, he's a little deceased. Now, with this in mind, how does your imagination impact on your actual life? Joe, how we doing? Oh, fantastic, Joe. Joe goes, I'm very happy to announce that I'm going to a shrine tomorrow afternoon for Ash Wednesday Mass with my dad, older sister Mary, and her family. This is fantastic, Joe. I'm absolutely certain that will work quite nicely for you. In all fairness, it is likely, because of your intention behind it, it is likely to open the door and help you reconnect with that which you're striving to reconnect with. Don't mind me, just trying to reach my water. I'm trying to think, did I actually take my meds this morning? If not, oh well. I'm not dead. In any event, take a look at the way your life is. You desire it to grow. Here's what's happening. Now, I am wondering. Nope, that's not what I need. Oh, that's a subscription button. Oh, I am going to have to talk. Because I was thinking there was something here and there isn't, and that's okay. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Whatever you desire, whatever you're aiming to change your life to, it is time to start carrying yourself. Imagine yourself in that role. Now get this. Oh, hi, Steve. Steve's going, Keith, check your blood pressure just in case. Well, I'm not going to do it laying down simply because of the pain in the neck. But to set your guys' mind at ease, and bear in mind, what the heck was that? Bear in mind, I've been, blood pressure machine. I've been active all day. So we'll see what it says. But like I said, I will hook the thing up. You know, personally and frankly, I'm feeling fine. But like I said, I will turn around and take a look at it and see what it comes up with. Well, that did not work well. Okay. Now let's see what it does. You're going to have to give it a minute. I mean, okay, we have what the heck? Yeah, I'm still breathing. Is that my... There we go. This is actually a minor little issue. But no, you desire your life to change. The reality is you get the option on how to make it do that. And to start with, you do it by literally, in your mind, seeing yourself with that change in a positive fashion. There we go. Okay, we didn't want that one over here anyway. Tell you, sometimes I get myself confused. In case you couldn't tell that all alone, in case you couldn't tell that on your own. But you know, this funny little thing, thankfully, is very easy, technologically speaking, for me to operate. Otherwise, I get frustrated just trying to get it working. Okay, we'll try that again, shall we? Now, there we go. Now we can test. And we just got to give it a minute and we'll find out. Do I feel I've got any problem with it? No. Okay, well, that's always a good sign. It topped out at 165, which means it isn't going to be that high. I've had it top out at well over 220. Okay, where are we standing here? Oh, well, like I said, I've been out and about. I've been up and about all day, so this is not bad. 143 over 93 with a pulse of 105. But that was me moving around and what have you. So I'm quite content with that. Okay, but thank you so much for your concern, guys. I do appreciate it. What did I just do with it? Right there. Now we'll put that back where it belongs. These little things can go out of my way so I know they're dead. And these batteries can all go in here. There we are. 1, 2, 3. I got a fourth. Oh, fourth one ended up over there somewhere. Don't know offhand where. Don't care offhand where. I do know it says that those batteries are toasted. So you'll simply, no, let's not do that because that's just going to confuse me. Still missing one, but that being said, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's just it, LA. You know, LA goes, that's not an awful number. Relax a bit and it'll come, relax and it'll come down a bit. Exactly. I've been getting up and moving around. That is going to drive blood pressure up. Okay. Now, I'm not like, from my standpoint, it's very simple. Okay. But, Nathan, how we doing? Glad you could join us. And let us take a peek here, shall we? Whoop, that is not what I want. This is Nathan. This is Nathan's live show. So drop in, give him a listen. To the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. That would be really appreciated. And of course, just a quick reminder, I am going to be on the first hour of Nathan's show on this coming Saturday, from what I gather. And Nathan will hopefully confirm that momentarily. Of course, it is possible, it is possible that he'll turn around and go, flock off. But, yeah, Nathan goes, got my red Hyundai in the shop. Handles will ride again, handles will ride again soon. Well, I wasn't expecting you to, in all honesty. I can tell you guys, I don't see it on the screen right now, but that may just be the fact that I don't know how that all works yet. What have we got here? I wonder. Now, I got to talk to, see, we are working on getting the button up for Buy Me a Coffee. Where that is going to be located, that falls under Storm's lap. He will sort that out. We're working on getting all the books up, the donation tab marker, and the subscription request for Positive Perspectives. So all in all, things are evolving. Uh-oh. Oh, Nathan goes, Handles is the name I gave the car. It's a Doctor Who reference. Oops. Sorry, from my end, I don't actually do. I didn't actually pay much attention to Doctor Who. I did, however, buy my brother a Dalek. That's the brother that passed away. I may end up with the Dalek back if I can get a hold of it. That and the Tribble that I gave him. But things are moving quite nicely. I've now got plans to get a few more books on the go. Things are coming along very nicely. Take your imagination. Whatever you see happening, that's what you focus on. That's what you put your effort into. Remember, just thinking about doing something contrary to some belief structures, just thinking about it ain't going to do the trick. Okay, and there's proper English for you. The reality of it is your imagination is what is going to fuel your world changing. But it's up to you to make that change. Okay. Now, the question that you have to ask, and I will tell you, I haven't told you this yet, Nathan. I will tell you, if at all possible, I will be there for the panel that night as well. Assuming my energy and the cooperate, but I am quite frankly looking forward to it. I'm figuring things from here on out are going to get hectic and get very, very busy. Pancakes. There we go. I'm guessing you're at work there, Nathan. But see, when I was working on a massive knot in Return to Paradise, which is the third book in the Yldrbacian Chronicles to come out. We've got through that block, and now I have a wonderful little shift happening. There is a section in the book that I'm having an absolute riot writing. Oh, LA. We have scrum, we have fried eggs, bacon, sandwich equals hungry. Yeah. And Nathan goes, manifesting Edgar. Yes, I am at work. You know, see, I have this interesting problem. If I were to, and it was funny because my other half, she looked at me and she goes, how can you function? Because I am literally physically hungry 24/7. On the other hand, on last Sunday, and I will know this Sunday because I won't check it again till then, but I dropped below the 190 again. Okay. And I am going to continue dropping. I've got a target in mind. That's just the way that's going to go. Storm, how we doing? Glad you could join us. I trust things are going well on your end. Oh, yes. And for those of you that missed it, I do have. Do you mind if I say something there, LA? Not about specifics, but about the situation you're facing right now, health wise. I'm going to be a little hard to eat more meat. The reality is I eat about 50% of my intake is meat. Okay, or a meat facsimile. And I don't mean vegetable. Oh, this is not meat. No, I don't go there. Okay, you guys can have your vegan meals and your vegetable patties and what have you. Be my guest. Okay, I like the way a buddy of mine puts it. He is a secondhand vegetarian. The cattle eat the grain. He eats the cattle. Yeah, and thanks, LA. Very important news, very exciting from my standpoint. LA went for a heart test for a little bit of a glitch. But turns out she'll be fine. Okay. And I mean, from my standpoint, this is extremely important. Frankly, I don't like burying friends. I don't mind burying enemies. If they're enemies, I don't mind burying them while they're alive. But friends, I don't want to bury. Okay. Now we could take that to a very bizarre level when you start thinking about the special someone in your life. But yeah, Storm goes. Another lovely day in paradise, wherever that is. Well, the good news there, Storm, okay, is this. The third book in the Yldrbacian series, literally speaking, it's the 12th book, but it'll be the third one going into print, is titled Return to Paradise. Okay. And I've got a section in there right now. There's a woman by the name of Rhea. Okay. She's a supporting character. She's not mainstream, but she is a bit of an Amazonian, as in she's 7'6", if I remember the height that I gave her. But there's been a lot. The scene that I had a riot writing today was there's a lot of chaos and what have you. They've just gone through a massive battle. And she comes out and she's walking out across the compound and she hears this guy screaming at his wife, right? And as she's just getting to his tent, he turns around, and just as she's getting to the tent, just as she's going to look inside, this guy slaps his wife. So what does Rhea do? She grabs him by the shirt collar and fires him over her shoulder and out the door. Looks at him and goes, "You're no longer welcome here. All of your stuff is forfeit except what you're carrying." Okay. So, except what you're carrying. Well, the guy comes back up and he's madder than wet hen. So he ignores Rhea and starts to go after his wife again. Well, Rhea hauls off and literally pitches him into the fire and tells him to, doesn't look at him, just over the shoulder into the fire. Right? Well, he gets up again, gets out of the fire. Now this guy is mad, but he's looking at Rhea going, I can't get by her. So as he's walking away, he shoves another young lass, just brutally pushes her. And the neat part there, the fun part from my end, is the woman, the child that he pushes, she happens to have already been brutalized. Okay, so he pushes her, she falls down, comes back up, spears the guy, breaking 3 ribs in the process. And as she's rolling over top of him, dislocates his wrist, his shoulder, and breaks his elbow. Right? Well, of course, she gets up and she goes to walk away, and he swears at her and calls her a couple of things. Well, she turns around and hauls off and kicks him, breaking his jaw and knocking out his teeth. Okay, so ultimately, Terry, how you doing? Glad you could join us. She gets up, and of course, once she's kicked him in the mouth, she turns around, right, and calls for a medic. Well, the medic comes over, looks at this girl, and goes, "So what happened?" "He fell down," and she walks off. This, like I said, for me, it was a lot of fun. Okay, but then I've got a bit of a twisted sense of humor, and in case you hadn't noticed, I don't like bullies much. To the point that the fiasco that we had with the trolls in here didn't help me at all. Well, in all fairness, it did. It made it very clear for me to make things happen. That's just the reality of it. Now, one thing, when I'm writing, I can get into, I do. At times, I'll get into a story, and sometimes it comes up beautifully, where even from my end, it gets difficult to write, never mind read. Your imagination is literally just as strong. You simply have to come to terms with the idea you can deal with it. Trust me on this one there. Where are we, Terry? Trust me on this one, Tails. It wasn't something that was really missed. I'd have just as soon missed it. Unfortunately, it was a growing curve. For me, a troll is simply about 9 feet tall. Is immune, heals virtually everything except magical and fire attacks. Okay, and these ones, well, my brother had a way of dealing with these people, but I like the way it was handled. Okay, apparently they are susceptible to electronic attacks. I am not the one to deal with electronic attacks, basically because I'll fry my computer. Not a fun deal. Okay, but in case, just for the people that don't realize it, I gotta see if I've got that. Just for the people that don't realize it, it really boils down to this. I don't welcome trolls very much, and fortunately, my moderators are really good at removing that problem. Now I am looking for something here. And there we are. I want that file. Because I need a file up here I forgot to bring up. Okay. I'll state part of it. But this. Now, first of all, there are only 3 laws I ever follow. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. These are the 3 karmic laws. Okay. And quite frankly, from my standpoint, those are the ones I follow. If you compare them, okay, if you compare those laws, let's see if I can do this right. But not print. Where is what I'm looking for? There we are. There. Now, those 3 laws, if you compare any laws that you follow to the ones and to those 3, you are absolutely certain. I'm almost certain If you ever find one that doesn't fit, but all the ones you utilize, in all fairness, should fit inside those 3. If they don't, if you find one that doesn't, please let me know. Now, those are the 3 laws I follow. But at the top of the chat, and thank you very much, LA. At the top of the chat, I just pinned in the things that'll get you evicted immediately. There is no question. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean you'll get banned. It simply means you'll get evicted. Okay. Now, the moderators take care of that. It's that simple. Makes it easier for me. And before we go any further on that little note, I've had a couple of interesting questions. Oh, absolutely. And belief structures are perfectly fine. Okay. But the reality of it is this. I've had this come from a number of different people. I have a number of moderators already in the chat room. Okay. I've got a fine quota. But I will tell you, I keep getting asked by people, can I be a moderator? Well, 2 major factors. I made that mistake once. And that's what triggered the whole mess with the trolls. I won't make that mistake a second time. Okay. Absolutely, Tails. Absolutely. I won't make that mistake again. This said, it doesn't bother me if somebody asks. But the decision on whether or not to bring a new moderator in, obviously, final say is mine. Okay. Kind of weird this way. I definitely believe in God, definitely believe in Jesus Christ, probably more so than most of you. And some of you know the reason why. But in this chat room, I'm God. I don't like it. It doesn't happen. Okay. Because there's a couple of ways of doing it. But number one, I've already decided until we hit at least 700, and maybe I may hold off till 800, depending on what the existing moderators say. Okay, that will be about when I bring a new one in. As for who it will be, this is what I'm relying on the moderators for, is to see who actually fits the bill. So before anybody starts figuring, oh, I can go around them and Keith will just open the door, Keith has already made that mistake, not doing it again. Okay, I like to think I learn from my mistakes. See, a mistake that is made because you're not aware of it is what I call true ignorance. No problem. But stupidity is when you know better and you do it anyway. What do we got here? Oh, that was mine. But you take your imagination and literally start seeing your life as you would like it to. I can tell you, I don't like right now, clearly the button is not, at least not on my end, but we are working at getting Buy Me a Coffee up and running. I've already got books lined up to go. Well, as you well know, I've already got books lined up. And if we go in here, that one. This is, at this point, this is an active website that you can absolutely drop in and get a look at you can get a look at the books that are already in print. Okay. And this email address here is the one that at this point you can absolutely order straight through me because I'm the only one that's got them in stock right now. Okay, but there's a whole lot going on with that. And again, okay, now that same email address is the same one that works for me with PayPal. Dang it. Well, that annoys me. Okay. I was supposed to take something out today because I didn't actually leave the house yesterday. So I am definitely, I'm absolutely leaving the house tomorrow. I have to. Because I've got a book that's got to get in the mail. I had a lot of running to do around town today, and I should have taken it with me. As a matter of fact, that's just it. I went out to the post office to get something, And I got out there and went, I know I forgot something. What the heck was it? Well, here's what it was. This is what I forgot. And no, I'm not going to hold it so close that you can read the address because, frankly, not mine to give away. This, Nathan, is unfortunately the thing that was supposed to be in the mail today. Therefore, it's definitively going out tomorrow. I'd take it out again tonight, but they're already closed, so there's not much point. Now, where are we here? Okay. Joe, how are we doing? Yeah, Joe, absolutely. If you've got a question, doesn't matter what the field. Okay, absolutely put the question out there. I haven't changed that at all. The reason I picked topic area is literally to give me some way to stay a little bit more focused. Because let's face it, I'm a bit scattered. Okay. Now, where are we here? So yeah, Joe, there is no question there at all. One of the biggest things that I've found is that in order to get organized, and by the way, LA, like I told you when I was talking to you, I did actually already post for tomorrow's show. Okay, to see, I know that's going to take a little while to get things moving, but I am actually following what you suggested. So we're going to see how that works. I have no doubt how it's going to work. Okay, but yeah, I put that out. I went out at 10 o'clock, so I think I put it out before I left the building today. I honestly don't know if it was put out before I left the building or right after I got home. But I don't recall doing it when I got home. So, well, mind you, my remembering what I did a minute and a half ago is stretching it. Okay, but take a look at the way your world is. Now, when you're looking at role playing, and some of you know this better than others. Okay, and I'm talking role playing in the way of Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer 2000, Warhammer 40,000, Traveler 2000, Traveler itself, Aftermath, the list goes on and on. Okay, some of you will remember a very old game called Space Opera. Okay, and another one called Universe. These are all role-playing games. But in every one of them, you imagine a character, you put it on paper, you give it some form of description to say, here it is. Some people get really carried away and start drawing it. Okay, I'm not that good. Okay, and I really am an idiot on occasion. I've got two very talented artists, okay, that I can turn to and go, here's a picture I need drawn, right, and have them bring it to life, or bring it to a semblance of life anyway. Your imagination is literally the only limit to what you can do with your life. Okay, now, I mean, let's face it. It's a rotating base. Okay, because I keep having to clear my table or clear my bed so I can actually go to sleep. Well, in all fairness, I can sleep standing up. This is the calculation I've got to do tonight. So we put this over here. This little book goes right there, so it can be gotten ready, so it can be moved tomorrow. Okay, now take a look at where your life is and go, okay, let me ask you this. Who here desires to be financially independent? Okay, who here can visualize themselves with a stable income that is high enough that you don't have to rely on the government and when I mean rely on the government, I'm not saying don't take their money. For pity's sakes, if you're getting a government check, keep getting the thing. But who here desires to be financially independent? Okay, I'm telling you, I came out last year, 2 years ago. My mother's estate cleared. Okay, I ended up with quite seriously $100,000 in the bank. Okay, GL, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, because of reaching out, and I caution you on this, you get a massive windfall. There is a proven statistic that I didn't calculate that apparently people that get a major windfall within 3 years are in worse shape than they were before they got the windfall. Now, I'm going to break that. 2 years ago, I got an estate. I wouldn't touch it if you paid me to. Well, actually, in all fairness, JL, if you paid me to touch Bitcoin, I probably would. Myself, I won't go into it. Okay, I won't touch the thing. I don't trust it for a lot of reasons, but that is for me personally. Okay, and yes, I've heard a lot of people that have said it's great, it's worked for me, and that's great. This is why I say, and I appreciate that, GL. You're the first person I've talked to that has brought it up, that the first thing out of their mouth when I said I'm not touching it, you're the first one that didn't come up and go, oh, but it's such a great thing, you should get it. Thank you so much for that, GL. That really is a testament to your own perspective. Well done on that, in my eyes. But, 2 years ago, I was handed $100,000 from my mother, who sadly passed away. Now, because of really, quite honestly, not necessarily break moves, as of January 3rd of this year, I was down to $624.95. That's all that was left. I am now starting to climb. And frankly, within the next year, I will be way on top of the world again. Quite honestly, a lot of it has to do with the support I've gotten from you guys. Not only the support, but the encouragement. I can now see my empire starting to take shape. My publishing company is going to grow. Now, it's part of the same healing center, by the way. Okay. I'm going to have, and I told my number 2 son, if my brothers agree to put my grandmother's autobiography on the market, any money that comes from that specific book will go 100% of the, once I take the cost of actually producing it, 100% of the net profit will go to charity. Now, do understand, charity from my standpoint is real simple. I will buy food for people, which might be a grocery store, might be groceries at the grocery store, maybe a meal out. Okay, I won't be handing cash to beggars. Certainly, I may buy a beggar a bag of groceries, but I'm not about to turn money over. Okay, and of course, I will take food to the food bank or food to the SPCA. Okay, because these are people that really require it. Now, my imagination is a little overstated on occasion, in many people's opinion. I see Positive Perspectives, which is the newsletter, and it is free, and Positive Perceptions, which is this live stream right here. I see this reaching globally on a massive level. But that's where you guys come in. Now, I'm going to start playing, I've already started playing the part of a well-seasoned entrepreneur. Okay, I've guided a lot of people through it. Okay, and that's where these things come in. Okay, how to turn your own life around. That is Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. That's literally the book that contains the secret to the keys to how I took my life from being a complete shambles on the self-esteem side to what you're seeing now. Outspoken, pig-headed, and somewhat opinionated. I'm not sure if that's a step up. You get to figure that out. Then we have Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams. I've had Inner Voice Enterprises since 2007. Approximately 5 minutes to noon on August 11th of 2007, by the way. But because I was working full-time, I didn't do anything with it. Now I'm pushing it. And then we have this. Believe in Your Finances and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, this one contains the key to how I took my money and turned it around and why it's starting to grow now. Each one of these is available through me directly, and we're working on a button for the stream, but the email and the website that I just provided will tell you how to get to me. Okay, each one of these very, very small, very concise. Okay, easy to handle, easy to read. $20 Canadian. Okay, and I don't care what kind of part of the world you come from. Now, that $20 is in Canada or the continental US. Now, let me ask you this, because I'm already putting it together. Let me ask you this. Do you have a dream in your mind? Can you imagine yourself getting if you've only got one poem, one short story, can you imagine getting that in print? This is, in a sense, okay, this is a form of immortality. Okay, show you why I say that. This little book here says my name, R. Keith Andrews. Okay, now that's all well and good, but let me see if I can see it. I don't know if I can. Oh, I think it's over here. Not there. 10 seconds. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, this isn't the oldest one I was looking for. But this neat little book might give you an idea. This little book here, you can bet your bottom dollar this guy's deceased, because this particular one was written in 1929. Okay, I've got one that was written in 1850. Okay, but this is a way. Here we go. Now I missed a couple here. Oh, GLF. I will tell you, and I'll give you a real short rendition of this. Okay, I will tell you this. And I appreciate you being honest. It works better. I do not lie. Myself, the one thing I'll guarantee is I will not lie to people to make them feel better. Okay, one of the key factors of making certain that your finances do what they can. I'm not clued in on what to do with savings. Okay, there's a couple of things you have to look at with savings. Number one, what you did, setting a budget only works if you have a definitive, this is how much money is coming in at the same time every month. That's the only way I've ever seen a budget work properly. But if you start tracking your money, okay, as in paying attention to what you're doing with it, figure out what you require. And by the way, just to be clear, this little book here does contain all of that. I've got another one I'm working on that I've just got to rewrite and get into this format. Okay. But this one will tell you how to handle things. The other one, but the real key to it is when you have savings. Okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of variables involved because I don't know the situation. If I remember correctly, you're over in Great Britain, are you not there? Are you not there, Jill? Oh, by the way, the neat part about it is when you look at the big books that are out there, there's lots of phenomenal books out there telling you how to handle money. If you have $40,000 to $50,000, this works if you've got $3. Okay. But if you've got money, you figure out how much you've got, how much you require to live. Now, let me ask you one question without going into a lot of detail on it. Okay, because I'm not about to pull your finances apart while I'm talking to you, while we're on air here. But do you have enough coming in to cover your basic expenses? Your house, your utilities, one credit card, your insurance, and your food. Okay, do you have enough coming in to cover that? Okay, if you do, you're already set to get ahead. Okay. Now, I have not seen you before there, Deep Flake. Now, if you have that, then it's very simple. Draw your line and go, that's what I require. If you end up with that, okay, if you take a look at what you require, the moment you bring in 1 penny more than what you require to cover your basics, it goes into your savings. Okay, perfect, GL. Credit cards are only good if you know how to handle them. Fortunately, I figured out how. And this is a neat part about it. Now, do understand, I am not trained as a financial advisor. I've never gone to school for it. I did take finances in school, but this is where the imagination comes in handy. Well, if you take it, trusting a credit card is sort of like trusting a gun. If you put it on the counter, it won't do a thing. Won't get you into trouble. If you leave it there long enough, it may even keep part of your counter clean, depending on how often you dust. Okay, but the real key to making savings grow is everything that comes in over that minimum required. And here's the kicker. I don't know how old you are, okay, but I'm telling you, if I just started doing what I knew when I was 20, and I already knew what I needed to do, here I am just about to turn 61. My hope is that people are going to listen. My parents thought the same thing. Maybe my kid will listen. Might have been an idea. He's passed on. He's looking down going, what did I tell you, son? But if you take the extra, start putting it aside. I do suggest talking to a financial advisor, or never mind an advisor. Talk to somebody who knows financial math. Find out how much money you require to maintain your current level of living in the future. Okay, and there is a formula. I don't know it offhand. Let your imagination paint as bright a picture as you can. I'm looking at a world where I literally am running an empire that makes Microsoft look small. And yeah, I know. Who am I? You're kidding yourself. You're just full of it. No, well, technically, yes. I've got this idea that I can take what we've got here, what you guys are part of the beginning. Okay, Joe's just adding here. Every so often, complete strangers will enter our lives. just walk up to us and say hi. Just say hi back, because chances are they've had it way harder than you. Just be kind to others, to those less fortunate. I could not have functionally said it better there, Joe. It really does not take much to smile at somebody and say hi. There was one young lady around me here that I literally spent 8 years where every time I saw her, I'd smile and say hi. I wouldn't get a word out of her. 8 years later, she finally started talking to me. Chad, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And let us go and find something. There we are. This is the link to Chad's archives. And where are we? Of course, it would be nice if I could find them. There they are. This is the link to Chad's archives. So drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and then share the daylights out of it. Okay, if you be so kind, because it's these connections that are going to build this and that are going to turn the path this world is on. It is not up to the elite. Okay, the elite are only the elite because you guys said so. Rest assured, I don't look at them as the elite. I look at them as being a little more active, a little bit more proactive, if you will. Okay, sometimes really nice people, sometimes not so much. I'm not interested in the not so much. I'm interested in the being nice. Now, here's the kicker. I imagine a world where, yes, I've got an empire where I can help take care of the ill, help take care of the homeless, these sorts of things. I will not be donating to a registered charity. I'm not even going to make a registered charity. At least I'm not planning on it at this point. GL, the future on the whole, okay, the future is simple. Okay, we can take the world. The money is there. There is no shortage of money. Okay, the trick is there is a massive shortage of knowing how to handle it. The biggest key to making your money work, imagine yourself literally with a wallet that is overloaded with access. Okay, now set out, make it happen. And yes, over the next number of months, I am going to be dealing with that particular topic. Okay, because I'll tell you, I've been, and this is why I say I'm not trained as a financial advisor. J-Jock, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I do not recall seeing you in here, but welcome aboard. Just to be clear, and this is something that I should get in the habit of doing, check the top of the chat room. I pinned the way to get yourself evicted, just like that. I'm not fussy. I just told my moderators, if somebody crosses those borders, they can go for a vacation. Okay, I am taking a vacation. I'm going to this year make it to Reno. It's already bought. It's already paid for. Okay, as a matter of fact, I extended it even further than what I would have. But the future itself, where it comes to the finances, if you pay attention to, as you put it there, GL, if you pay attention to the doom-minded, we're all going to be broke and living on the street and nobody's going to help us because we're all going to die. Well, they got part of it right. You are going to die. Myself, I'm going to be financially not just self-supporting. I'm going to be financially affluent. Now, I've already figured out the algorithm that I'm working with. Roughly 80% of my net profit, meaning I will take care of my own expenses first to make sure I don't end up on the street. But 80% of my net profit will be going back to the community, back to the people that have helped me, back to the people that have worked with me, back to the people that are literally customers that have bought things from me. The money's going back out there. This applies all the way up to and including, and you're going to love this number. Now, like I said, beginning this year, I was at $624 I've got it worked out where even when I'm making $1 billion a month, I'm still going to be taking 800 million of that and putting it back out to the community. Okay, now you may be looking at it going, this guy is so full of it. Okay, and remember what I said. I'm not about to lie to you to make you feel better. Okay, I listen to what I'm saying. I'm going, I got to be out of my mind to see this. But the reality of it is, yeah, I know a lot of people who are doom-minded regarding collapse. People who like gold, silver, for example. I like gold and silver too. Matter of fact, I like gold so much. The first year I moved out of my birth home, I bought a set of 18 karat gold flatware. Okay. Because I like gold. I like the shiny things. The reality of it is I don't require them. Okay, do I have it right here? See, for me, now this is a cup I can quite happily drink out of. Now, you know what the neat part is with this one? This one is already been, it was built. Okay, obviously. I know a woodworker that built it and put it together. Okay, it's already been cured, so I can actually drink out of it. It's perfectly safe. But to me, this is an excellent drinking cup. Now, it's a little on the big side. It literally holds a cup and a half of liquid. Might be a little much if you're drinking alcohol. Where are we here? Oh, there we go. Now, just to be clear, guys, because this whole comment by one of my moderators. Okay, I've given them a list of things that I require. So when a moderator speaks, that's the time when people pay attention. Okay, it'll save a whole lot of hassles for a lot of people. Much more importantly, in my eyes, it saves me a lot of hassles. Whatever you do, do not take offense to it. There is no offense intended. Rest assured, if I want to be offensive, I'm pretty blunt about it. Okay, but where it comes to gold and silver, understand one thing. Gold and silver have a limit. Okay, now we don't have a big problem with a shortage of it per se, but the one thing that has no limit, or virtually, essentially no limit, is the amount of energy out there, the amount of energy you generate. And that's where the imagination comes into play. Picture yourself as a wealthy mogul in 10 years. Picture it, give yourself a reasonable time frame. Now, I'm looking at this. Okay. And again, if you guys like the stream, absolutely do me a favor and give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. The way we are going to grow this, I figured it out. If people start spreading word, even at only a 1% return, okay, we're looking at well over 4,000 people, well over 4,000 subscribers before the end of February of next year. Likely over 300,000 or over 3,000 before the end of this year. And it's simply an issue of getting word out. I'm no longer interested myself in doing this issue of going, hey, let's talk about how bad we're all going to be off. Let's talk about how sick we're all going to be. Let's talk about whatever depressing news you'd like. Okay, this is why in the magazine Positive Perception and Perspectives, this is why my bad news section boils down to this. There is bad news that happens. It does occur. Okay, And bad things do happen to good people. But if you're looking for more information, go find almost any magazine, newspaper, news station, news affiliate, any chat room. There's lots of ways of getting depressed, lots of ways in losing trust in people and losing faith in people. Okay, that's not what this is about. And that's why the first word, positive. Okay, I am positive every single one of you is going to die at some point. Some of you may be like me, in as much as you may die more than once. But death becomes a bit of an inconvenience at that point. Okay, the reality of it is, where is my books? Where is my book? What? Balance goes away and we're just hooped. Here's my neat little database. Let's see any hacker get into that. We are looking at 52, 55 now. Right now, we only have a circulation of 55, literally 55. But that's going to grow with a little bit of luck and a whole lot of technological support from other people. Okay, I will grow that to a staggering level. Right now, sorry guys, it's a simple problem. But that said, the newsletter is one of these neat little things that if you get the newsletter and you want to pass it on to other people, absolutely do. With the newsletter itself, I'm not going to be watermarking it. Okay, I am keeping a copy myself of each edition, and it is constantly evolving. But this boils down to your imagination. Now, let me ask you this. If you look in the mirror, okay, just think about it. I'm hoping some people will put their idea in the chat room about what they see themselves able to do. In my case, I'm still going to work from home. I may eventually work from an office. Depends on what kind of a setup I have to deal with. Okay, right now I'm working from home, which means, get this, I get up in the morning, like this morning I got up. When did I get up this morning? I got up this morning. No, that's night. Today is Wednesday. Really? Today is not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. I'm trying to figure out what day of the week I'm on. Oh, 13. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong calendar. I'm looking at that going like, that doesn't add up. But that's because that's January. There we are. This morning, I got up at 2 o'clock. Local time. Obviously, local time. Okay, that was after going to bed at 10 o'clock last night. So I'm working on 4 hours of sleep. My health is in better shape now than it was 30 years ago. So this idea that you've been told that you have to find that you've got to get more sleep as you get older, frankly, I'm wondering who wants the shovel and who wants the backhoe. Okay, but take and let your imagination see yourself dressed in whatever. Okay, it's time for you to become the Cinderella. If you're female, I don't know what name you want to use if you're male. Okay, I'm pretty certain you don't want to go with Cinderfella, but some of you might. Okay, see yourself as wealthy, as affluent, as well appreciated as you can possibly imagine. This is where the imagination comes into play. As a role player, okay, I asked my game master one day, I says, what's going on? Every time I start a new character, I'm building a freaking empire. What's up with that? He looks at me and goes, drive? Okay, well, that same drive is what has the newsletter now growing, is what now has people coming to me with with offers to help. And bear in mind, the newsletter itself, Positive Perspectives, is free. Okay, yes, I will put information in. I will put information and ads for what I've actually got available. Absolutely, I will. But the importance of it is the message that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Yes, there are bullies out there that are going to be a pain in the neck. Okay. You know, there are people that are going to cause that problem. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like I said, bad things do happen, but the reality is, from what I've seen, about 90 to 95% of the people on this planet are decent people trying to help each other. Now, that means about 5 to 10% are bad people trying to hurt each other, just in it for themselves. This means out of roughly 8 billion people, 8 billion and growing, approximately approximately 800 million, 800 million are annoying little, and you get to fill in the blank. Okay, this leaves 7 million, which, by the way, means 9 times the people that are decent then are creeps. Now, imagine what would happen if you find those 9 people around you that are decent and trying to help each other. And instead of one of you going to the store and going, I can only afford to buy a half a loaf of bread, I just don't have the money. But 2 of you get together and you combine the food. Thank you so much, Storm. I really appreciate that. If you can only afford yourself half a loaf of bread, but you pair up with your neighbor, maybe they can only afford half a loaf of bread. You notice I'm not talking millionaires here. I'm talking the people that have minimal income. Okay, but 2 of you get together, now you bought a full loaf of bread, because you can bet the baker ain't going to sell a half loaf. But you can split it in half, and now you've got extra. Now you've got enough food to eat. Maybe only for a day or 2, but you got to work on that. And we're going to be covering that. Now, here's the kicker to it. And I know this sounds like such a wild stab in the dark. But let me ask you this. And this is where my imagination gets right out of hand. Now, you think about it. These books, I've got 3 of these in print. I've got 7 books in print that I've written, working on, I think, 33 more. Okay, I've got 1 book already written by somebody else that I've now put to print. I've already got one of the books I'm working on. I was approached by somebody else to co-author another book. Joe goes, I have all right sleep at night with sleeping pills. Then I'm up with a dream, or with a dream or 2 at like 4 a.m. my time. Then I'm up to remember that dream just to write it down before I forget. Yeah, I've been there, done that, Joe, and I do feel for you. Okay. Now, for pity's sakes, as we turn your guys' stress around, until your stress turns around, okay, if you're using medication to help you cope, okay, stay using it, especially if you're on a prescription medication, okay, regardless of what I say, or for that matter, regardless of what anybody else says. If the medication comes out and says, by the way, we're going to cut it back, okay, and the reason for that is twofold. Why doesn't that surprise me there in LA? This is something that I'm going to have to look into. Wonder how bad that is. See, I'm not getting, of course, I'm sitting right beside the same computer, so I'm not getting the lag, but I don't, I have no idea how to cope with that. I know when I go to replace my computer, I'm going to be looking at something that does boost the signal. And from what I gather, this has more to do with the actual service that I've got. Okay. And that one I've got state of the art right now. I should actually talk to them and find out what they have to say. Why doesn't that surprise me? You I mean, that isn't doing, it's just letting us know that the lag drops a few lines. And therefore, I do encourage you to go back and listen to the stream afterward, because then at least you can pick it up. Okay, at least I'm hoping that's the way it works. From my standpoint, it's a real simple issue. If, when you take your imagination and you look at yourself and go, this is what I'm desiring to create, to co-create. Understand, no individual stands alone. Okay. And in all fairness, boy, did we ever go foggy. In all fairness, okay, if it weren't for you guys, okay, there is no way I'd still be here. Okay, I'd have closed the door a long time ago. World, how you doing? Where are we here? World just going, no, it's going to leave big gaps in your comments. And there ain't much I can do about that, but there is something I can do about this. World, where are we? This is the link to World's live stream. And I'm telling you guys, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. I know you're a really busy individual there, World. So thank you so much for dropping in and sharing your time with us. The neat part about it is when you actually imagine yourself as a very wealthy individual. World, I have been trying to find the thing. Okay. I actually spent about an hour looking for it the other day. The other day would have been about an hour before I came on here. So I'm still trying to track the thing down, but the computer is not cooperating. If you would be kind enough to drop me a link right to it, I will make a point of watching it tonight. I've spent on YouTube, and this is where I run into the technology problem. I've spent probably 2.5 hours looking for the thing and haven't managed to find it yet. Do not ask me why. That one I cannot give you an answer to. Gordana, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Oh, that much I realize. We've never communicated about. Oh, wait. I was going to say, we've never connected either email or on phone, have we? See, I came to a conclusion, and this is nothing against anybody. Okay. The reason I don't have, try English. Okay. Where is what I require? Here, World. Copy that. Drop me an email with the link in it. Here is the email. that will get it to me. And I will make certain when I get done this stream tonight, before I pack it in, I will sit down and watch the thing. Oh, perfect. Now let's see if I can do this right. Believe that should be control there and see what happens. I just hit the control and the link. And what do I got? It's trying to load. To track things down on the internet is, quite frankly, absolutely legendary. Nightmare legendary type thing. Thank you very much, Storm. I do appreciate that. There we are. Bonus. Let's pause that. Now I've got that set up. There we are. Now, world. I've got it set up. That gives me the absolute perfect way of getting to it. Yeah, GL. I can't find a local menu on the internet. This is why I'm working on this, but the amount of text is bizarre. Okay. It really is bizarre. But I do appreciate it, don't get me wrong. But when you take a look at it, if you take a look at the way your world is, and you go, I desire my life to be better. I desire the finances. Okay. I really, if you see yourself with the finances, I know it sounds like a stretch. I really do. But from my standpoint, this is what I'm aiming at. Now, I'm doing exactly the same thing I'm talking to you about. Okay. And what I mean by that is, here's a tool to use. Put it to use. It won't do you a bit of good if you don't pick it up. And like what just happened here with World. And this is why I like the support in this room. Okay. I've got a simple algorithm laid out that is working. And every time I veer off it, I run into the same problem. An absolute schmozzle. Uh-oh. Oh, there we are. I was looking at who you were referring to, but that's shorthand for him. Like I've got a very simple, Oh, Gordana, don't even go there. Everything that is in control of anybody is controlled and manipulated. Okay. Every single industry out there, myself included, I control what's going on here, in as much as I'm not looking at how much damage is out there. Let's face it. You can take a look. And now, I'm going to put it this way. You can take a look at the news and you can see all the bad things going on. You can take a look at astrology. Astrology will tell you, here's all the good things happening, here's all the bad things happening. But if you get tied into any one of them, okay, you can see what you will. It is easy to, and let's look at statistics for just half a second. This is where the imagination is absolutely phenomenal. The funny part about it is this. Okay, if you watch a advertisement, it says, and then I'm just quoting, and this applies to Crest, Colgate, and Colgate. What the heck was it called? There was Winter Fresh came out for a while. Pick a toothpaste. Pick a mouthwash. Pick a foodstuff. 4 out of 5 of the professionals recommend this item. Now, that sounds like 80% of the people are recommending that particular item. Okay. Well, Joe, there is no need to apologize for looking at a crowded room, which I love personally. Okay. Yeah, I think I missed your last comment, but I'll go back up and see if I can find it. But that sounds like 80% of the of the professionals recommend that given item. Unless what they don't tell you is to find those 4 people, we checked with 100 different people that said something else. Okay, so we turn around and now only 4% recommend it. Okay, now the reality of that can be flipped around the other way. Only 4 out of 5 doctors recommend walking for your health. Okay, problem. Only 4% of doctors recommend walking for good health. Okay, however, if you stop counting, let's say the first 4 say it's really good, and the first one that says no is where you stop counting. All of a sudden, 80% are recommending it. Now, I will tell you, I've made the mistake of saying still. Okay, they absolutely can. It's the nice thing about numbers. Numbers can be made to say anything. Tarot can be made to say anything. Okay, astrology can be made to say anything. And there are people that live their lives by each one of those. Myself, I live my life by 3 laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Now, this brings to mind a comment that I first heard stated by Wayne Gretzky. Okay, now I'm not a hockey fan. Okay, but you pick up bits and pieces. And the first time I heard this statement was from Wayne Gretzky himself, when he said, you may miss 95% of the shots you take, but you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Okay. The nice part. Now, let me ask you this, Gordana. You keep going back to the defense force and the negative side of it. Let me ask you this. Have you ever heard anybody talk about the benefit or about the people actually helping with the farming? Or they're standing up and saying, we can make it happen? Well, they probably have. Think about it, Gordana. Just to put that in perspective, 80 specialists in Toronto, a place of at least 3 million, 80 people died. Shock. Absolutely. Now ask yourself, how many specialists graduated? The important factor is I'm not interested in, I'm interested, it matters to me that this world is in trouble. But if we focus on the negative side of it, we are completely hooped. Okay, and this is why I say, when you're looking at your future, are you interested in having your future put you on the top of the pole? Okay, I'm no longer interested in this idea of, I'm going to be broke for the rest of my life. I'm not going to have enough food to eat. I'm going to have a shortage of gas. I'm going to have a shortage of health. And there's one young lass in the States. I heard her. I just about fell off my chair. She's telling us that we are suffering from a shortage of gravity. Okay, now this ought to be fun. Okay, this ought to be fun. If we're suffering from a shortage of gravity, picture, if you will, how low is our cost of transportation going to get if our gravity sinks to the point that we can now jump a mile and a half to get to where we need to instead of having to drive. Okay. Funny thing is, to put it simply, yeah, gravity gel. I listened to this woman, I kid you not. She went off on and I swear she was on a bender, but she went off on this rant about how we are using so much gravity on this planet, we're running low on it. Now, I'm not certain how that correlates, but I did say it was a little weird. Okay. The funny part about it is I'm not interested in defending the future. I'm not interested in defending the past. I'm interested in forging the future, in co-creating a world we can all happily look at, now, never mind on our deathbed. I've already been on my deathbed a few times, way more than a few. I'm telling you, it's overrated. But I'm not interested in just leaving the world. I tell people, what can you do to leave this, to make this world a better place than when you got here? Okay. Now, to me, it's kind of like getting out the good silverware. Get out the good dishes at the holiday for the guests. Scrap that noise. I'm getting the good stuff out for me. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I like that one there, world. According to scientists, okay, the bumble and the bee cannot fly. Wing displacement, the air displacement, the speed of repetition, the surface area, none of it will permit the bee to get off the ground. Okay. I believe, the scientists say the bee can't get off the ground. It can't fly. Yet, somebody neglected to tell the bee. Now, I'm living proof that you don't have to do what you're told. Okay. I was told, my parents were told, when somebody dies, when they are pronounced dead, they end up they're dead. So at 5 years old, I got pronounced dead. They shipped me to the morgue. My parents were told I was dead. Okay. Somebody forgot to mention that to me, so I got up and left. Net result, you want proof of the pudding? I'm here. Yes, I'm absolutely off kilter in a lot of ways. But I am curious because I missed which one is law. LA, can you elaborate for me just because I'm confused? Which is actually real easy to do. Okay. Which one of those statements above or that I just made are a law? The one thing I will tell you, if we continue to focus on the things that are funny thing is, well, that's what they say, but I will tell you, and I mean this with all due respect to every scientist that is looking at gravity going, it's a draw. Gravity is being pulled towards it. They're reading it backwards. I can't prove it. Not a prayer. Give it between 30 and 50 years, and the scientists will prove it for me. Okay. Well, drunk driving does create all kinds of havoc. In all fairness, that's one of the few things I never did do. Gravity does push. Okay, and when the scientists figure it out, then all of a sudden all sorts of things change. But I'm not here to prove it. I'm here to go think, question, do your own research, but give up on this idea of it has to be the way you're being told. Okay, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be the way I'm telling you. For pity's sakes, don't just flat out take me at my word. Okay, I've told people a long time ago, and I will repeat it right now. My imagination is dangerous. You know that old concept? To think about doing something is as bad as doing it. If you think about it, you're going to hell. It's a great place to visit. Hot tubs are too hot, I'll tell you that. If thinking about it is as bad as doing it, then care to explain even in simple terms, this book, this whole series contains the decimation of the human race. It contains the complete collapse of society, okay, based on a number of factors. Alien invasion, massive, rampant illness and pandemics, okay, major wars. All of it is contained in here. Now, you'll notice we still have lights on here. You'll notice we still have electronics, okay. If thinking about doing it were as bad as doing it, how many of the trolls that were in here would have lasted a nanosecond? Okay, think about it. Do you really think I sat here going, gee, these are wonderful people and we should let them have their way with things? I don't think so. Okay, let your imagination do what it will, but focus on the positive side of it. Okay, in role-playing, in D&D, okay, when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons or any one of a myriad of games, okay, you're imagining yourself living in a different world. Take a look at the world you're living in right now. And I mean, whatever lifestyle you're going through, whatever situation you're dealing with, take a look at that. Are you content with the way your life is? Now, you undoubtedly have been told that change is difficult, change is painful, change is scary. Change is also the only constant in the universe, by the way. Actually, in all fairness, it's the only constant. Now, every time you were told that, you were changing. You were hearing something different. Your synapses all shifted gears, and you took in a new way of thinking. Okay, you may have discarded it, but it came in. And unless you're writhing on the ground right now, change is not painful. It's actually quite simple. Your imagination, okay, if you could do one thing different, what would it be? Okay, think about it. I got a pen and a pencil in this hand. I don't like it there. So I'm going to make a change. And now it's going to go over here. And now it's changed. But you notice I didn't burst into flames. And yeah, and you know, in all fairness, most people are. And I appreciate that, Joe. Now the neat thing about depression is this. If you can imagine yourself in a better mood, there are ways of boosting that. Now, yes, there are a lot of medications that will help. And for pity's sakes, if you're using a medication to help you feel better, okay, if you're on a prescription medication, do not cancel the thing until things are turned around. I know a couple of people that are literally, they're on medication and they literally will look at me and go, I feel better because I'm on the medication. Okay, now I'm taking medication right now, and I'll tell you the only reason I'm taking it is because I told my doctor I would. Okay, I don't have a lot of use for it, but that's me. But I did tell her I would take it until I got it turned around. Now, I've got enough for 3 refills, which means I've got enough medication laid out for a year. You can bet your bottom dollar I'll be taking that. Okay, but one of the biggest tricks in the book, find the fastest pace. Yep, that works. One of the biggest tricks in the book. Okay, I'm going to give you 2. And you can do your own research. For pity's sakes, do your own research. Now, number 1, take the fastest paced dance music you can find. Crank it as high as socially acceptable. No point in cranking it so high that you get a noise complaint. Crank it as high as socially acceptable and let it run in the background. That vibratory rate of the music will bring your spirits up. Okay, that's number one. Number two, get at least half an hour direct sunlight. Now, if you don't want to go outdoors, there's no problem. Stay indoors, get the glass window moved out of the way, leave the screen door in place. It's the direct sunlight, which does not mean it can't have clouds. If it's still sunny outside and there's clouds out there, so be it. But the vitamin D your body requires. Okay. LA, I love that one. I'm All Right by Kenny Loggins is quite the song. But the vitamin D your body requires is kind of, and I do not expect you guys to believe this. I know the scientists don't. Okay. It's essentially a photosynthetic kind of operation. It's already there. You just need the light. Okay. I don't know Carl the Golfer. I will tell you, 1973, Carpenters. Listen to a song called Up, Up with People. Okay. That is what we need to start looking at. That's what's missing. People have forgotten who people are. Caddyshack was just twisted. You do realize that. I mean, yes. Was Carl the name of the golfer? I remember watching Caddyshack. Oh, perfect. Storm is going, Keith, I have your stuff set up with your book and newsletter. Oh, perfect. That is absolutely fantastic. Oh, yeah. No, that is absolutely fantastic. Now the only thing we're missing, now curiosity there, Storm. There's a button in the bottom right corner that says hit this button to subscribe. Okay, is that the button that takes you to the same? Is that the button that takes you to the link? That's just a curiosity thing because I haven't gone and hit it yet. Primarily because I'm afraid of it dumping my system. Yeah, but you got to give the guy his opponent. You got to give him credit. He did put up a good fight. Oddly enough, I take a look at the golfer going, I hope he wins. But I worked on a golf course where we had a gopher problem. And you got to hole 10. And it didn't matter how good you were, unless. Oh, okay. Oh, perfect. When I worked on a golf club that on hole 10, we had a problem. If you didn't get an absolute hole in one, you automatically would add one stroke to your game because one of the multitude of golfers would come out and steal your ball and bury it. When they finally took the golfers out, 3 years later, they dug the wall out and pulled out 6,000 golf balls that these little guys had stolen. Now, okay, now, Storm is just informing us that we now have a link for Buy Me a Coffee. That same link will take you to any one of the books and the free newsletter that I've got available. Okay, this is what I mean by tech support in the background. Okay, now we just got to figure out how, well, matter of fact, I should grab that and take that and where are we? Copy the link address. Go back to this little thing. Hey, that was not nice. And we go, where are we? Pop that in there. What I'm trying to do is add it to my database. Whoa. That's an interesting twist. I'm going to have to take a look at that. But in the meantime, we undo that. And we go up there. Now, I will, from that standpoint, thank you very much for this, Storm. Now I just got to get things working right. But that gives us a starting point. The thing is, take your imagination and put it to use, whatever it is. Now, it's time to play the role, to pretend, if you will, fake it till you make it. Start pretending that you're a millionaire. The money is coming through your door in buckets. Preferably make the buckets out of paper, because I'll tell you, if they're made out of metal and those things hit you, you're in pain. I know, I've had that problem. That is such a weird setup. Now, why is it when I copy that link, it's 18 miles long? But when I look at it here, it's not. But that being said, imagine yourself living in a world, even with everything falling apart and with the so-called elite and the so-called professionals dragging in money left, right, and center. Picture yourself drawing more money in than you've ever thought about. Okay, more money, more, and I'll call it this way. Understand, to me, money is nothing but an easier way to carry a cow around. Okay, it's a lot easier to take a $10 bill or a quarter and drag it around than it is to drag a duck around. Okay, or to drag a chicken around. And besides that, if you don't feed the quarter, it won't die. Okay, won't do anything, but it won't die. This is literally a question of playing a game with yourself. Are you interested in playing the game of life and letting everybody else tell you what you cannot do? Are you interested in following that road? Are you interested in the idea of your world's going to suck no matter what you do, because you can't do it? I learned a long time ago, can't doesn't work well for me. Okay, apparently you can't walk out of the hospital after less than 24 hours with a massive coronary where you turn more gray than my hair is. Okay, apparently you can't do that. I did. Apparently you can't die and come back. I've done it multiple times, never mind past lives. Okay, apparently you can't have a stroke that knocks out your speech and your walking and recover in less than a week. Matter of fact, in all fairness, I was up and walking in 2 days. Apparently you can't do that. I'm telling you, if one person can do it, so can everybody else. I'm recommending do not try the stroke thing. Not fun. Okay, there is a guy in the States, well-documented guy if you know where to look, that jumped, he went skydiving twice from 30,000 feet. Both his parachutes canceled, and he still landed safely. He did it. I don't recommend skydiving for anybody. Of course, I can't find a good reason to get out of a perfectly good aircraft. And I've yet to find somebody that can explain it to me. Because I'll tell you, one person told me it's a rush. I went, yeah, I've been picked up by a tornado. Okay, I'll tell you, it takes the rush of flying out of the equation. And no, I do not expect you to believe what I'm telling you. Okay, it's very much like I don't expect you to believe that the information in this book was picked up firsthand. Meaning I didn't go around researching it. I didn't go through paperwork all over the place. That wasn't the way it worked. Okay. That information is because of the fact I dealt with them head on. Now, the nice part about it from my end, when we take a look at Races of the Worlds, that is, it's a reference manual. It's got information on literally cultures, appearances, attitudes, etiquette, that sort of thing. This one, many of the races that are in Races of the Worlds, you will find some of them in here, and you'll get to see some of the personalities. Okay, so it kind of worked out accidentally. When I put Races of the Worlds together, it fit in beautifully with what I was already writing with the Yldrbacian Chronicles. And yes, I do include in the Chronicles, I'm also including some of those neat little things like the 3 karmic laws. Why do they work? How do you explain soulmates and soulmates, twin flames, soul family? All of these things seriously in this 12-volume series. Now, I've already got 2 books out. The third one I'm now closing in on finishing. Finally got through the hiccup. Massive headache, got through it. Okay, so now I'm closing in on finishing it off, and I've started Final Expansion. Got through all the hiccups there too. So Final Expansions on Races of the World, the second edition is coming to fruition. I'm not giving you a release date. Don't go there. What do we got here? Minimize that. Whoop. Oh, okay. Copy that. And let us go back to, where'd that book go? That. Okay. Now let's see if that looks better. There we go. Now that's a much better link. I like that one. That one isn't 3/4 of a mile long. Yeah. So, with that in mind, that link I will start working with and get moved on to places. The fact of the matter is, that link, okay, the one that Storm has just provided, goes to buy me a coffee. I have had so many requests from you guys, asking me to get that up and running. Well, give Storm a real big round of applause. And in my case, I can do this. I can do this. Now, you know what the really funny part is? I got told this. It was hilarious to me. What clapping is. Okay. Clapping is literally you're hitting yourself because you're happy. Okay. Now, I know this is kind of bizarre. Now, when I was growing up, there was another form, and they had a very, you might take it as a derogatory, so I'm not going to tell you. But here's the other type of clapping. Now, if you're deaf, you clap like this. Okay. But there was one joke when I was growing up, and it was literally told by the people it was referring to. We're not going to tell you who the people were. But they looked at it and went, this is the type of clapping we do. It's a silent clap, but, this is what it was. Now, that being said, I'm not going to tell you what the group was that said it. I will tell you it came from them. But when we start looking at your imagination, okay, I had a character in D&D by the name of Shadowhammer. Okay, now Shadowhammer was a dwarf, but he built an empire where he had a home in every city. Okay, and he paid magic users to give him a teleport pod to jump between every city. I remember one day he walked in, and this is no way I do this. Okay, personally, I'm very much against violence. There's 4 places that violence is useful. In stories, rest assured, post-apocalyptic, violent. Okay, it's got some nice parts to it. Okay, it's not always violence, but books, movies, fantastic for violence. Songs can even be violent. Okay, your imagination can probably be completely wired. And other than that, mutually agreed upon combat sports like the MMA, boxing, these are naturally designed. They are designed as combat. Now, I asked a 12-year-old one day that got into boxing. He's the only kid that ever gave me a functional reason. I said, I gotta ask you, knowing you're getting into a ring, they're going to try and beat the heck out of you. Why would you do that voluntarily? Kid never missed a beat. He looks at me and he goes, well, he says, I can't speak for anybody else. But he goes, I've got a temper problem. And if I have a bad day, I go down to the gym. I climb into the ring. They know I'm going to try and take their head off. Right? He says it's better than beating on somebody on the street. You know, this is where the imagination comes in. Now, let me ask you this. You guys have your own outlook. Listen, and I mean literally just take it at face value for the moment. How likely is it that I'm going to take what you're looking at and turn it into a massively going concern? That I'm going to build that empire. I'm going to build that publishing company, the Healing Center. I'm going to become financially self-dependent, is self-supporting. And I'm going to do my level best to bring as many of you along with me as decide you're going to give me a hand. How many of you figure it's going to happen? Okay, I mean, literally, are we really getting down to that point? Oh, we are. Yes, tomorrow we are absolutely going to look at society and cultural growth. The neat part about tomorrow is we're going to show you how to do it. Okay, we're going to show you how you, as an individual, without the power of the elites behind you, without the money of the major moguls, we're going to show you guys how you can band together, correct your own life, and working together, turn the tide in spite of what you're being told. In my case, it's because of it. I keep getting told, you can't do that. I'm like, can we not discuss what I can't do? Okay, there's so many things that people have told me I can't do. I like the way it was put years ago to me. It would be really nice if those of you that think of it, that are telling people they can't do it, would get the heck out of the way while those people are doing it. The United States military, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have a saying that went, the difficult we're already doing. The impossible just takes us a little longer. I love that attitude. And many of the people in the American military, and I'm referring to primarily your privates and your corporals and the lower echelon, because it seems the higher up they go, the thinner the air gets. Now that applies to every industry I know of. Okay, right from politicians to business owners, the smaller the business, the more versatile they are. Absolutely, LA. I'm a firm believer that if you're doing something and it's not working, find a different flaming method. The one you're working on ain't working. Okay. Now, I've been a little morbid on it. Absolutely. Tried death by astral abandonment. Tried it by fever. Tried it by poison. Gave it a shot with an epileptic seizure. Tried drowning. Tried electrocution. These are all methods I've given a shot at. They keep shipping me back, and I just have to look at it and go, look, God doesn't want me, and Satan's afraid I'll take over. It was funny. I keep getting told, you're going to go to hell. Matter of fact, just about 3 weeks ago, I was talking to one person. Another one walks by and goes, there's a place in hell for people like you. I looked at her and I went, yep, they call it the throne. From my standpoint, it's very simple. You've got a mind. It's time to use it. You've got an imagination. You may have been told, starting when you were about 4 or 5 years old, you may have been told, that's a wonderful imagination. Now grow up. I'm telling you, you have no choice. You're going to get older. Okay. The choice you've got to make is, are you going to get old? Okay. I was in your boat. I really was. Very low self-esteem. Absolutely no real functional hope for the future. Now I'm sitting here going, the world's my oyster. And I like oysters personally. Although be careful, because if you get the right oyster, you get pearls. Now, I don't know how they figure out which ones have pearls. I figure I like the song by Kenny Rogers, The Gambler. Every hand is a winner, every hand is a loser. Now, the question you have to ask, are you going to take your hand and let other people's imagination determine whether or not you're a loser? Okay. Are you going to let people tell you you can't do it? If you're struggling to drop weight, talk to me. I've got a method that it's not medical. I'm not going to give you pills. Of course, I'm not a doctor. I can't give you pills. Okay. If I'm on a good day, I can give you a sugar cube. Okay. But I know how to drop weight. I'm eating almost 24/7. I'm dropping weight. Half of it is a mindset. The other half is a simple mathematical thing. For those of you that like math, okay, if you put less calories into your body than what you're burning, you will drop weight. Now, here's the key. Okay, here's the real kicker to it. You gotta eat healthy, which does not mean cut this, that, and everything else out. It means everything in moderation. Okay, now, and I appreciate that there, LA. The newsletter, Positive Perspectives. Yes, it is available to everybody for free via email. Okay. But it only goes out by request. That's it. Okay. Now, with that in mind, and I do think that's what I'm going to do starting next week, starting tomorrow. Okay, we'll put the evictions up periodically and the rules periodically, but I know exactly what I'm going to pin at the top. Yeah, Joe goes, getting old is the tough part. An even tougher part is finding someone to get old with. Well, getting older is easy, but getting old is, if you listen to the news, you listen to the people telling you you're going to lose your eyesight, you realize they told me as I get older, my eyes are going to fail. Okay. I used to be at a stage where if I held my eyes, if I go back 15 years, if I held my glasses right there, I couldn't see them. Okay. Now I've got 20/20 eyesight for reading. That's 15 years older. My eyesight's improving. My health is better now than it has been in decades. Absolutely, LA. Although I have found that smiling and telling somebody to F off works nicely. Okay. I think one of the best ones I ever heard. I'm not going to put it in blunt terms, but when you're having trouble with somebody, there was one young lady that came up with a brilliant statement. She says, if somebody's being a pain in the neck, just tell them to focus. Now, let me ask you this. When somebody tells you to focus, what do you think they're telling you to do? Let's see if anybody comes up with it in the chat room. Okay. What does it mean to you if somebody tells you to focus? And let's just say they smile at you and say focus. Okay. What are they encouraging you to do? Okay. I'm just curious if we're going to get a response in the chat room. And I know we're winding down. So this is what I'm tying it off at. Okay. Now, You know, the neat part about it, okay, what do we got? Most people, when they're told to focus, literally think that they're saying, you know, pay attention, concentrate, pay attention to what's being said. And you know, there's one young lass I knew that I used to know. She looks at me and goes, that's not what it means. Focus means F off because you're stupid. Now, this is a polite way to smiley to tell somebody with a smile on your face to leave you alone. Okay. And you'll notice that if you do that with a smile, they'll think you're being nice. You'll be fine. Okay. Now, with this in mind, tomorrow, and this is saying there's a couple of neat little things. Uh-oh. You know, oh, there you go. So now here's the thing. Tomorrow, I'm going to make certain at the top of the stream from here on out that we've got the coffee at the top of the stream. Okay. However, we will periodically pop up the rules of the house and the rules for eviction. Tomorrow, we are going to start looking at cultural society and how we can actually change it in spite of what we're being told. But the imagination is the key. Can you visualize this world in a better state? Can you visualize your life where you've got the money coming in so you can actually support yourself? Yep, absolutely, Shadow. There are some other additions, but that's the way I grew up with it. You know, it is a case of literally starting to listen to the idea that it doesn't matter what you've been looking at in the past. I'm not dealing with the past. We cannot change it anyway. So starting right here, right now, we start working together to change the way this world is going. Okay, that's the key to it. Now, with this in mind, I really do want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me, guys. I could not be happier with you. Well, I probably could be, but I don't know how I do it. But I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.